So this is what you have so far. You have the V cut at the top for his ears. You have the eyes sticking out, his mouth sticking out. You have two neck drawn lines, two small slits where the arms are going to go. You have your legs cut, a hole in the back, two arms, and a tail. Now on to sewing. The stitch we will be doing is the straight stitch or the running stitch. I will demonstrate how you do that. You take your needle and thread with a knot already in it, start in the material, and just go in and out and in and out with your needle several times and slowly pull like this, and you continually do that quick and easy. Now we're going to start the first sewing using the straight stitch, which I just showed you. The first thing we will sew is the ears, which are up here, this big V. We're going to start at the corner, sew down, and come back up. When you get to the lowest part of the V, you're going to go back and forth a few times to reinforce it because it's prone to ripping. So you can start. So we just stitched the top, going 1/8 of an inch in, going down, reinforcing it here, and coming back up, repeating that twice. The next thing we will sew are the legs and the feet. These are down here. We'll start right here, sew across here, come up, reinforce it a little bit, go back down, and come across. We'll be using the straight stitch and doing the same thing by going 1/8 of an inch in. Now we've sewn up the legs using the straight stitch, lining this up carefully, coming across here, up here, reinforcing it right here, coming down and across, doing that twice. The next thing to sew is the neck. This is where we used our marker to mark off a semicircle. All you'll be doing is using the straight stitch, stitching across right where the marker is, once and then twice, doing that on both sides. We just sewed up the two neck holes, right here and right here. The next thing we're going to do is a third neck semicircle. This will be right in the middle. On the finished product, the two we just sewed look like this, and the one we will be doing will be right in the middle. To do this, you pull the first piece of material up like this. Right below the mouth, you'll be sewing here a semicircle like that. I'm going to mark it out with my marker, and you can do the same. Starting right at the neck, right at the mouth, like that. What we just did is sew the 3 necklines, which were here, here, and the third one only through the top piece. Next, we will be sewing the arms. Take the first arm, inside out, putting right sides together, line it up in half. There are 3 different sides to this that are open. There's a small side, a long side, and the ribbed side. What we will be sewing is along the rib side and then along the long side, leaving the small side open. We just sewed up the arms, and now we're going to sew up the tail. To do this, you line up right sides together, just like this, and you're going to sew the straight stitch on the open end from here to here, leaving the small end open. You're going to do that once, and once you get to the end, you're going to pull on the needle and cinch it. So here I am finishing the tail. I did the straight stitch across, and now I'm pulling to cinch it, just like this. Now I'm going to tie it off by making a knot. Now that we've finished the tail, we're going to turn the tail, the arms, and the body right side right so we can stuff them. I'm just stuffing the last part of it. I've stuffed the arms and the tail, and now I'm stuffing the body. A neat way to do this is to stick your thumb into where you're trying to stuff, line up some stuffing on the outside like this, and just pull in like this. Turn it right side right. You should leave the torso a little empty because we have a little more sewing to do. The head should be full, and especially a lot of stuffing in the mouth, which is the heel. Now that we've stuffed the body, the arms, and the tail, we're going to attach the arms. To do this, you want to make sure that there's about 1/4 of an inch at the top without stuffing of the arms. You're going to fold up the top like this, and you're going to find the armhole you cut earlier. You're going to stick the arm into the armhole and have it come out the middle. Make sure the seam is facing the back, that seam. All you're going to do is take the straight stitch and sew around. So now I've stuck the arm through the hole, and we're lining up the inside material with the arm like this. All you're going to do is sew across right here through the back. Now that you've sewn in the arms, they should look like this. You're going to stuff the rest of the body. And you're going to sew up the hole in the back. You're going to be doing this from the outside, so you want to be able to sew it up as neat as possible. Now that you've sewn up the back, we will be sewing on the tail. As you sew on the tail, you will also be sewing up the gap in the tail, so make sure you keep the stuffing in. You can scrunch it up a little bit, line it up exactly where it should go, above the legs. You're going to be sewing up one side like this, and then flip it over and sew up the other side. Now I've finished sewing on the tail, we will start the mouth, or the lips. To do this, it's going to be right in the heel. You're going to picture a top line right there, a bottom line, and a center line. You're going to start on the right side and come all the way across to the left. You start by putting your needle in the center line like this, grabbing a bunch of stuffing with your needle, and coming up at the top line. You will then go back in through the top right next to the stitch you just came out of, grab stuffing, and come back into the center stitch. These should be close together. Come back in through the center, grab a lot of stuffing, and come out through the bottom. Go back in through the bottom, grab stuffing, and come out through the middle. Go back in the middle, grab stuffing, come out the top. You're going to repeat this all the way across from right to left. You should be pulling it tight and grabbing a lot of stuffing to make big puffy lips that eventually should look like this. So here I am finishing off the mouth. I'm in the center, grabbing stuffing, coming out the bottom line. We're going to go all the way to the corner of his mouth, going back down at the bottom line, grabbing stuffing, coming up through the middle line, going back down the center line, back up to the top line, and then you can tie it off. We just completed our sock monkey. The last thing I'll be doing is attaching this label, which says Project Monkey Shine, Girl Scout Project, not for children under 3, because I'll be donating this to a hospital. I invite you to do the same.